Okay, next, item number 13, we have the Sam Brannan Park Court restoration and conversion, approval of the plans, and report by Mr. McIntyre.
You should have, yeah. Good evening again, Mayor and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Brad McIntyre, Community Services Director. I'm here this evening requesting staff, on behalf of staff, requesting council to adopt a resolution approving the plans and specs for the Sam Brannan Court restoration and conversion. In addition, authorizing staff to go out to bid for the project. Just a little background, Sam Brannan Courts were built in 1965. A majority of us, I don't think, were born yet. Well, it's okay, it's all right. It's all right.
Nice
It's all right. It's a positive, because we're all young at heart. We're all young at heart. My gosh. I'll just end my presentation now. Thank you very much.
Make it quick.
So we've got a couple of pictures that show how bad the court is. We have resurfaced this court at least 10 times during that period of time, since 1965. And so the facility is definitely underutilized. And so the proposed conversion layout includes 8 pickleball courts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are fences that go in between the courts. These boxes right here are shade covers with benches. We have ADA accessibility coming in. We have 2 other access points coming in right here and right over here. And of course, we have the tennis court. This project would be a complete demo and a complete rebuild. The popularity of pickleball is increasing. I believe we have somebody that will be speaking on behalf of that here in a few minutes, so I won't be redundant or take you through it. But it is a multi-generational sport. These are local athletes playing pickleball. The color of the court surfaces, I anticipate, will be pretty much the same colors as you see there, as far as the typical blue and green court surface. You can play pickleball with your left hand or your right hand, and it is for the young at heart as well. I do want to talk about the pickleball equipment. By the way, Councilman Buckland, you did a great job demonstrating that for us earlier. Did I get the booze on that too?
So thank you. No, I appreciate you got a really good photo and a nice angle. So
pickleball is played with 2 paddles that are fairly small and wiffle ball. The wiffle ball makes the game slower and more of a reactive game, and there's a lot of action to the game. Before I show our next slide, this project is really brought to you by our community. We have 3 very strong community members, organizations that have generously donated $25,000 each. They are partners in this project. They are people in our community that live in our community that believe Yuba City is a great place to work, live, and play. Those 3 partners are, from left to right, our Yuba City Rotary Club, the Friends of Yuba City Parks and Recreation Foundation, and Yuba City Unified School District. I believe all 3 will speak here to their excitement as it relates to the project. Estimated timeline and costs. So we are hoping by the end of May to go out to bid. Our desire is to award a contract if it is within the interest of the city. Construction would start sometime in the summer, and completion and ribbon breaking sometime early fall is what I predict. Our engineer's estimate projected costs currently right now is $270,000. And I would gladly entertain any questions at this time.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions for Brad at this time from council? If not, we'll go ahead and open it to the public.
I got a question.
Yeah.
We have a 75,000 in donations. Where are we getting the other 200?
So through our community development block grant, we have applied for funds, and we anticipate some rollover from this year from CDBG, and then I know council will be reviewing CDBG funds in the near future. We've also have reallocated funds from our vehicle replacement fund, meaning that we had 2 vehicles in recreation. Those 2 vehicles are not used enough to really justify the purchasing of 2 new vehicles, so we've reallocated those funding. And then through the community services budget, adopted budget from last year, I anticipate approximately 30,000 rollover from that as well. So
Thank you, Brett.
at this time, we are not asking council for any additional general fund money.
Okay. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope. Okay, so at this time, I'll go ahead and open it to the public. We do have some speaker cards, so we'll just go right in order here. Dale? There you are. Rotary Club of Yuba City.
So we brought a few of our members down today to show just who the Rotary Club of Yuba City, or some of the members are anyway. We actually have 75 members in our club. As many of you know, our club takes on a huge fundraiser each year in our crab feed. Many of you have been to the crab feed, and each year we usually choose one or several projects to put the monies towards. Obviously, we have several scholarships and other things we put money towards, but this year we really wanted to do something to benefit the parks in Yuba City. And so what we did was January, February, I think we started talking about this, and Brad proposed that we were working on a pickleball court and trying to get funding for that. And realistically, that was something that we had several members that actually play pickleball. And some of them are self-proclaimed first and second tier pickleball players in our community, as number 1 and number 2 in the entire community. So we'll just go with that. Pickleball obviously has a huge following in the surrounding areas, Sacramento, Lincoln, Chico. Chico has waiting lists for people that play. And anyway, so and to help with your decision tonight, what I was going to do is ask our Rotarian members and their spouses that have come tonight, just so you know what this club represents in the community, and we were going to present you with a check for $25,000. So if I could have everybody come up front. Both sides here. Mayor, if we could have him come up and accept the check.
Steve, you should jump up there. You're right there. Come on, Steve. Come on, Steve. Neutral ground, okay.
Darren, you guys need a picture. Darren, you're part of the picture. So with that, Mayor, okay, we're live. So with that, we'd like to offer to you a check for $25,000 to the city of Yuba City. And hopefully this will help you with, persuade you with your decision tonight. Anyway, nothing like a short, right. So that's what we're here for. Rotary Club of Yuba City. So thank you very much.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Next, we have Michael Barrett. Barrett? Sorry.
Okay, I have a short video that I'd like to show you first.
Michael, can you state, just for the record, can you state your name? and
Yes,
address?
Michael
If you're like
Barrett,
me, the older you
Mr. Pickleball.
get, the better you were as an athlete back in the day. But most folks still feel they have a lot of fight left in them, even if they can't cover as much ground as quickly as back in the day. That may explain the rise of a sport that is growing quickly in popularity. If you've heard of pickleball or you already play it, then you know. If you've never heard of something called pickleball, you're about to get a crash course in a fast-growing activity from NBC's Mark Potter.
If the pickleball craze has not yet hit your town, stand by. It's on its way. Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in America and can be played by just about anyone, including 91-year-old Lee Kritzer, vying for a medal at a pickleball tournament in Delray Beach, Florida.
It gives you exercise, it's fun, social, and it's competitive.
Although it's exploded recently, pickleball was invented almost 50 years ago near Seattle. A combination of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. It's played with a paddle and a wiffle ball on a short court, which attracts older players who can still win without having to run too far.
You can compete with the younger people by using your head, and while they try to use their speed. You outthink them.
The American pickleball capital may well be the Villages, a huge retirement community near Orlando. Even with 140 pickleball courts, players form lines each morning to get a game. The USA Pickleball Association says the game is spreading around the world and easily has more than 150,000 players. A fun, fast-moving sport with a funny name.
That's wonderful.
Members of the City Council, my name is Michael Barrett. I am president of the Yuba City Pickleball Club. I learned how to play pickleball a year ago in Mexico. I played with persons in age range from 14 to 88 years old. Upon my return, I discovered I could play in Chico, Oroville, Grass Valley, Rockland, Roseville, Folsom, and Sacramento, but nothing here in the Yuba City area. I therefore decided to form a local pickleball club to organize and grow the sport in our area. We are a nonprofit 501c3 corporation dedicated to the amateur sport of pickleball. In only 9 months, we've become very popular and now have grown to 35 members, ranging in ages from 20 to 78, including my 24-year-old son, who loves the sport and gives these guys all a lot of competition. We've also had a lot of drop-ins from out of the state who love to stop by and play just because they're here and they found us on the USAPA website. Surrounding cities have state-of-the-art pickleball facilities and courts. Pickleball is growing rapidly all over the world. That video was made in 2014, and he said 150,000. We are now over 2.8 million players in the United States in 4 years. Pickleball is growing. We remain very committed to collaborating with the city of Yuba City to make pickleball a great addition to our recreational sports in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have David Williams.
All right, good evening, council members. First and foremost, my name is David Williams. My address is 1611 Hunter Way here in Yuba City. I didn't bring a large check with me, but I will challenge your number 1 and 2 ranking over there because I've been playing for a while now. So I started learning about pickleball. I'm a PE teacher in the area. I work at Gray Avenue Middle School right next to San Brandon Park. But my first encounter with pickleball was at Chico State University. We had a tennis court right on the outside of our building, and that was something we did between classes or just when we had some free time because all you needed was a ball and a paddle, and you can go out there and play and enjoy yourself. And for those that aren't as good at tennis, it's a good introduction to tennis to kind of get the foundation for it. But that being said, I'm a PE teacher at Gray Avenue, and I've been taking my students because we have a gate that goes through the park. And I've been taking my students for the past 3 or 4 years into the tennis courts that they have. But like Mr. McIntyre said, the facilities aren't as strong as they could be with the cracks. And I've actually brought duct tape and fixed nets at times. I've brought my own chalk so I can actually mark the pickleball courts. For example, I brought measurements to make sure they were accurate for my students. And it's just something that my students have really enjoyed. It was kind of our highlight of our school year. I brought a big giant pickle jar. And each winter, we have a tournament at the end. I put their names on there, and it goes in our trophy case at our school, and the kids just get a kick out of it. It's right in front of the library, and they walk by, and they just enjoy seeing the name, and they want to strive to get that. So I think seeing 8 courts rather than the 4 tennis courts I have now, I can bring more and more students over there and kind of introduce them to the sport that I love, and it seems like a lot of people I didn't even know loved in the area. So thank you.
Thank you. Great. Next, we have John Cassidy. John?
Council members, John Cassidy, 2057 Pheasant Drive. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Thanks for entertaining this wonderful project. And I want to thank you for making this Older Americans Month for me to be here tonight. So I fit right in. Want to introduce a few of our members of the Friends Foundation you may not know. Michelle, stand up. Karen and Sharon. Where's Judy? I saw her. Did you? There you go. Cool. Yeah. So great group. Thank you. We're excited as a foundation to be able to throw $25,000 at this project. Unlike Rotary, we didn't bring a check because it's the modern age, and with George Barlow's wonderful presentation, we'll be digitally sending you those funds at some point, right, Brad? And
it's a direct deposit.
The city is to be commended because this is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. It might be the fastest growing sport in the United States right now. And having a state-of-the-art facility where you can attract tourism, which is always a goal for this community, and I think it'll help a lot. And I commend the council for entertaining this and hopefully approving it. And congratulations, Brad, on bringing a great project to the city. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. George, I think we have direct deposit available for John, right? Okay, I don't have any other cards. Would anybody else like to speak? No? Okay, we'll bring it back to council for discussion or motion. Yeah.
Brad, maybe the hours of the park are to sunset, but is there lighting? Is that planned, part of the deal too? All right.
Yes, and there's current lighting right now, and actually we upgraded our lighting 2 years ago with Optera when they came in and did a contract for the entire city. And so, yeah, the lights will be on until 10 p.m.
Thank you.
Through the mayor?
Yes.
I know I go to occasional events there, invited by community groups and stuff, and I would look over there and go, tennis courts aren't being used and they're getting old, and wondering, what can we do? What can we do to make that happen? And what sport could go in there? And I'm just thrilled that we're able to finally get the facilities going to be back up to a level to where it will be very active, and it'll also deter some of the less desirable parts of our community from camping out in that area, because there'll be so many people they won't want to be there. That's just a side benefit from that. We have to deal with them in other ways, the homeless or whatever, and we're still trying to help them, but it will definitely be utilized. I'm thrilled to see that it's going to be having kids back in there again, and lots of them. So. I'm still a kid, and I'm one of those older seniors now too.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
So I have to be really honest. I've never played pickleball. Done a little bit of tennis in the past, and have coached some tennis. But is there foul language in this game? Does it occasionally come out? The pros are here. And the only reason I ask is because we're facing this thing right up against another park that has some alternative uses around it. So I think we really need to focus on it initially to make this successful. And I mean this in a very serious way. We need to really ratchet up the enforcement at our skate park to make sure that people aren't being run off or not going there because of certain elements that do hang out there. And we need to enforce our decorum requests at that location and really make this an area to strive that folks are going to go and frequent all the time. So I think it's awesome.
Right. Thank you. I think this project is great and so well needed here, so I'm all for it. My other request would be right after this is done, let's do bocce ball too. That's another one.
We have one at King Avenue.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Any motion?
Go ahead.
Just real quick. Thank you to all the donors. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of work and a lot of effort, and it's really appreciated. So thank you to everybody for that.
Definitely, definitely.
And through the mayor, I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution approving the plans, specifications of San Brendan Cork restoration and conversion, and advertise bids for the project.
Do we have a second?
Can I amend?
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'd like to amend it. The amendment would be to also receive the donations that have been promised forward on this project, that they'd be included in, and I think we should welcome those as part of the entire project to be able to bring this forward. Is there have been some generous donations made by groups, and I think we ought to receive those monies at the very same time.
Okay.
So added what he said, so be it.
Okay, so we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. And now it's going to be a mad rush out. Nobody wants to stay? Nobody wants to stay?
They're headed to Chico to play ball.
Well, Brenton's staying.
Of course.
See you at lunch tomorrow. I mean Thursday.
Hey, John, when you're done wearing that coat, we're about the same size. Can I borrow it?
Oh, John, there's a big price for this. But everything's for sale.
All right.
Okay. Well, George, you were right. They didn't want to stay.